In most projects, the two things that end up being the things that either make a project either happen or don't happen are number one, finding real estate, and number two, money. And so making decisions about money, how to get money, how to spend money, how big of a project because of how much it costs, all these different things. These are some of the most fundamental issues that need to be figured out early in projects so that we even have an idea what to draw. If we're drawing layouts that aren't based in some understanding of this, then, what are we really doing other than just making cool stuff, which is fun. But if you're in it to really make something, to bring a business to life as quickly and efficiently as possible, let's have a real conversation. And I mean that for you in terms of, how we go about making money decisions. So what I'm really getting at is this idea of kind of eating your vegetables first, because if we start here with the money being the vegetables in that analogy, we can very quickly talk about, how big of a facility it is that we're looking to make, whatever that means. Because very often people have big ambitions that are not grounded in reality in the sense of really having an understanding of what these things cost. And so if we don't look at it pretty early on, we might invest too much time in making something that you just really isn't even in your ballpark versus something that's a smaller version, maybe not a fully realized version, or maybe just a smaller but fully realized version of your dream. And I think that that's the kind of thing that the earlier you wrap your head around that, the better off you're going to be. And as we're making money decisions, I think it's important to realize that we're not competing against other facilities that are exactly like what you do. There may or may not be direct competition in your area for whatever it is you do, but there probably will be at some point. And then number two, there's all this other stuff that people can do, including doing nothing. They don't need to go and do anything. So, how are you going to be creating an identity, creating a mix of things to do, a mix of a place that people want to be, that is the right business model that brings people in and makes them want to come back again and again, so that, we can think about this type of mindset as we're making money decisions about what to put money into, what to invest in our facilities. And further, it's important to sort of contextualize where you are in your industry. These are two examples of franchises that have very different business models, but are in different ends of the same industry. And the resulting business that you see in terms of the build out itself, the amount of money that's been invested into it is very different. And that's pretty obvious in these pictures. And that's really what that sort of financial planning and analysis is about, is it's about balancing the numbers on the left with the building itself or the investment in the space itself and the return on the other side. And that's the balancing that we can do that really does need to start with you and your perspective, like your specific view on what it is that you want in terms of what the intent is, what, hot, sour, sweet, savory, whatever it is. Like this analogy of ingredients, I think is good because your intent as the chef of this project matters, because not everything is the same. Fitness in one room isn't the same as fitness in another room. There are different businesses that run classes very differently. Think of fitness itself as very different things. So fitness isn't fitness, or the way that we put things together, the technique that we put things together, just using this cooking analogy of the way that you handle the ingredients themselves. So if you decide what it is that you want to do, the way that you put it together and the ratios you put it together with, these things really have an impact on the final result. So it's not just about putting different pieces of program together, different activities together. It's about understanding what you even mean by that. And that is how we can really talk about making money decisions. And we can very quickly start to put numbers to them. And so, putting numbers in a programming sheet to get numbers for budgeting and start to understand what the sort of investment looks like and what the returns over a longer period might be for that investment. And this becomes the sort of loop that tells us what the building is or what the space is that we can afford. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about making money decisions, is understanding actually over a certain amount of time, what can we start to expect? on the other side, so that when we take all these different pieces, this becomes that filter that I talk about, where this is the way that we can actually make decisions. The way that when we look at real estate, we can understand what we can afford, what type of building we actually can create on the other end. Do we like this or not? Is it doing the things that we need it to do from the money perspective, not just from what we want it to be sort of emotionally? And so this is really the different pieces of information that we need to be able to make money decisions, because there's no right or wrong way to do any of this. There's no right way to start. There's no wrong way to start. Some people have money already. Some people have a building and raise money for it. Some people have nothing. Some people have both. Some people have a really clear vision. Some people don't have much of a vision. Some people want more of a traditional sort of business model that they can follow that's already been done. Other people want to ask the question of what else? Like, what else can I do to this to create an identity, to create something more, something that you can really sort of invent and become, make it your own. And along the way, though, you need to be making money decisions at every step, from very early project development all the way through how you put the business model together, how you put the team together, all these different things. And so the more that we can pull this apart a little bit, it's not that any one thing is right or wrong. It's that together it gives us a bit of a sense of what we're trying to do, so that we can really evaluate it and have a baseline of information to discuss the pros and cons as we look at different things. Because there's nothing linear about this. There's no answer in one piece, but together, that's how we make money decisions. And that's how we understand how much we're spending, when we're going to be spending it, all these different things that help you move through a project a little more efficiently, or a lot more efficiently, and in a more predictable way, so that you're not getting some sort of sticker shock down the road that can really end up derailing you or having you to make sort of major cuts that are really hard to do. So if that's helpful, please reach out if you'd like to talk, and thanks for watching.